Last year, we did a review of one of the cheapest shotguns available on the market, the Maverick 88. And based on the comments we got, this is not a gun that should be criticized. No criticisms of the Maverick 88. But it did get us thinking, were we wrong about the Maverick 88? Let's find out. So it's not uncommon to have some negative comments on a video. Enough people commenting, some are gonna be negative. It is what it is, no big deal. As long as people are respectful, I appreciate negative comments. I'm gonna read for you a few of the comments from the Maverick 88 review. First time I've watched your channel. It's the last time too. The Maverick 88 has a great track record with many years of service. In my opinion, this was a nitpicky hit job, not good. Is it me? Or is this the whiniest Maverick 88 review out there? For the price, this is the best shotgun I've ever had and still keeps on ticking. I think this review is a little harsh. It's a utility shotgun. Probably the best combination of versatility, reliability, and low cost since its introduction. This guy is used to the high-end stuff and won't stop whining about a $200 gun not having the features that guns with a 4 digits price point has. You know, the comments hurt. Not really. I respect your opinion. Maybe I wasn't overly thrilled about a $250 pump shotgun, and these were some of the most negative comments. Most comments we had were overwhelmingly positive about their experience with a shotgun. And this is one of the reasons we ask people, hey, if you have experience with this many years, tell us how it's held up. Because out here doing these reviews, obviously we're not gonna shoot 10,000 rounds through a gun. We might not even shoot 1,000 rounds through a gun. That's one of the things that we can't really test well is long-term reliability. We make some educated guesses, but we look at a lot of the specs, make observations about the gun, and really just try to highlight it so you can see what it is, so you can make informed purchasing decisions. I think it's crazy how many people chimed in and shared their experiences. I'll read just one comment to you, but believe me, where this comes from, there was a whole lot more. My Maverick 88 12 gauge 28 inch was my first shotgun. Got it when I was 14 and used it for 4-H shooting sports. Duck, goose, pheasant, dove, quail, turkey, and rabbit hunting until I was 18. And I got my first semi-auto. But I've had over 10,000 rounds through it. No jams, no failures to feed, no failures to eject. I've never had anything break in it or had to replace anything whatsoever. Overall, I love this gun when I take someone who doesn't own a shotgun hunting. I let them use it and it still gets the job done every time. All of the bluing is worn off inside the aluminum receiver, but she's still working like a champ. It just goes to show you no matter how cheap or expensive your gun is, if you take care of it, do regular takedowns and cleanings, you can make any gun, no matter how expensive or cheap, last a lifetime. So that still begs the question, was I wrong? Well, to determine that, let's look at what I said in the video. So we're right around that 8-pound mark on the trigger, which is not surprising. I could tell right from the get-go. It was a little tougher to pull, doesn't feel all that great, but hey, what do you expect? It's a $253 shotgun. So, the trigger. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel all that great. It is heavy. It's a $250 shotgun, I believe is what I said. So I'm simply, in my opinion, pointing out what I'm observing with this trigger. And you shouldn't be surprised that it's not a great trigger. It's a $250 shotgun. But it still goes bang. Look at the safety. I don't think I've ever seen such a, it almost looks like a safety you would see on a toy gun. Honestly, kind of janky looking. The slide release is actually fairly conveniently located. Yeah, I think it's a cheap plastic safety. It does look like it's from a toy gun. And the slide release is pretty conveniently located, which is what I said in the video. I agree with that. Has a brass mid bead, an ivory front bead, so that's kind of cool that it has 2 beads on it. I still agree with that. I think it's cool that it has 2 beads. I mean, $250 and you get 2 beads? These edges are sharp right there. Like that, you're slamming shells in, I would tear my hands up. Yep, still has sharp edges. Yeah, just not my favorite feeling shotgun, but you know what? When you buy a gun like this, you're not gonna get all the bells and whistles. It's not going to be the best feeling, the best operating shotgun on the market, but the question that we're going to try to answer today is this potentially a gun for you? Yeah, I mean, it's not my favorite. The ergonomics I don't love, and I think I also said, but you're not going to get all the bells and whistles on a $250 shotgun, so not to be surprised there either. Yeah, a lot of recoil into my face. Did not love it. Maybe a lot is a bit overstatement. Like, it's not the most comfortable pump shotgun to shoot. Do feel a fair bit to my face, but I was maybe a little harsh on the recoil side of things. Now, I'm just shooting 12 gauge, 1 1/8 target loads. Shooting something heavier is definitely gonna have a bit more kick, but manageable on the target loads. It's gonna be okay with hunting loads. It's not gonna be the most enjoyable gun to shoot. So I was a little harsh on that one maybe. This is a very basic gun that obviously works. That's a plus. I don't think I could have said it any more clearly. It is a very basic gun and it obviously works. If you put a lot of rounds, like, you're gonna wear this thing down. There's no doubt about it. Just how this is put together, you're eventually gonna wear parts down, have malfunctions. I would love to hear from you though. If you own this gun, how many rounds do you have through it, and have you had any issues yet? So on this one, it's a little bit of an educated guess, right? Like I said, I'm not gonna shoot tens of thousands of rounds for this. It doesn't look like a gun that would hold up extremely well, but that's speculation. And based on the comments and feedback I've got, a lot of owners have ran a lot of rounds and this thing runs. Now, there's other guns we've reviewed where we speculated the same thing, and then we got the feedback, and guess what? It held up to be true. So on this one, I'm gonna say I was wrong. Although, if you do shoot it enough, it is gonna wear out. I didn't really qualify it with how many rounds, but I get where y'all coming from. Quality build, it is on the lower side of quality. What do you expect? Primarily speaking, ergonomically, the furniture, and some of the internal components and different stuff. Now, I know a lot of the components are interchangeable with the Mossberg 500, a lot of similarities. Mossberg 500 has a reputation for running a long time. But yeah, ergonomically, it is a lower quality of build. And as far as some of the parts and components, I mean, there is a reason they can sell this gun for $250. Now, also looking through the comments, I did see several mentions about it's US made. And then I saw comments about it's Mexico made and different things. To the best of my knowledge, there are parts made in Mexico, and it is assembled in Eagle Pass, Texas. If you don't have the money to buy a little bit nicer gun, no problem. Yeah, I mean, I have no problem if you buy this gun. The one caveat or little asterisk with that is if you're buying it for a kid and you can afford something better, that's maybe going to be more manageable on the recoil, go for it. Now, pump shotguns have quite a bit of recoil. They're also at a lower price point. I'm always apprehensive to recommend cheap pump shotguns for kids because if this is their first shooting experience and they're getting beat up by the gun, it makes for a poor first experience and they might not want to continue to shoot. So use your discretion. If the kid is real young and has a high pain tolerance, go for it. But if the kid may not enjoy it, it may hurt them, don't do it. Wait till your kid gets older, or if you can, buy a little bit nicer shotgun. Now, this is about $250, about as cheap as it gets. My son, I didn't want to throw him at a cheap pump shotgun because I know the experiences that I've had and they're not always that enjoyable, and I wanted him to love shooting. So I sprung for a semi-auto gas gun that's going to have light recoil. If this works and you think your kid can shoot it comfortably, hey, I got no problems with that. But hey, I can hit targets, I could kill birds, I could hunt with it, I can do the things, and it works. And that, it will. No more to say about that. Now, most of the things that I say in the reviews are observational, right? There's certain things like the specs, the barrel length, the length of pull, I measure the trigger weight, different things like that that are a little more technical, but a lot of it's observational. I'm looking at it, I'm noticing the sharp edges, I'm noticing how the safety works, I'm noticing where things are located. Ergonomics are a big piece of it. A lot of observation, and my opinion is not gospel. My opinion is just I'm trying to do my best to put it out there so that you can have a good idea of what this gun's all about. And there is a huge reason that we ask owners of a shotgun to chime in, and that's more for the reliability and longevity of a shotgun. And that was really overwhelming. And I love to see it. So thank you everyone that contributed to that. Now, I always try to look at guns relative to price. I try not to be as critical on a $250 shotgun as I would on, say, a $700 shotgun. The fact that you can get a shotgun for $250 and it works is quite amazing. If you told me this gun was gonna last a year or two, I'd say, hey, that's a great starter gun, go for it. But the fact that people are getting tens of thousands, I think is saying a lot. Now, was I wrong? I think I was in some regards. My assumption about longevity of this gun, how it hold up, appears to be inaccurate based on viewer feedback. And I don't want to beat this to death, but if you watch one of my reviews, I highly encourage you to always go through the comments and see what others are saying about it, right? I'm just one guy with a lot of experience with shotguns, observing and telling you about a gun, but there might be a lot of other experiences. I might shoot a gun and it works great. Then you might go through the comments and find that people say, issue, 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 issue. That speaks volumes. I might have issues with a gun and then the comments light up and people say, love it, love it, love it, no issues, no issues. Take all of that into account. If you love your Maverick 88, I love that. I really don't care what gun people buy or use or love. I mean, you might think I have biases and prejudice for certain guns, and I mean, subconsciously, I probably do, but I really try my best to be fair. Now, some days I'm really energetic and having a ton of fun doing what I do, and I might just bring more energy to the video. Other days, who knows what's been going on. Maybe Jordan told me I looked ugly that day and I just am down, and I'm not as enthusiastic. And sometimes it's hard to be enthusiastic about $250 shotguns, so maybe my tone in the video wasn't as enthusiastic as it could have been. But nonetheless, I simply want to lay out guns so you can make informed decisions, and if you love it, I love it for you. So was I wrong? Put it down in the comments and we'll let you decide.